All right, whenever you're ready.
Hi, so my name's Pinky, and my topic was the Fibonacci sequence and golden ratio. So the image here has the Fibonacci spiral, and you can see it if you look at it closely, and they've used like multiple spirals to create it, and I really like that. The guy on the right is Fibonacci. He's Italian. He first started mentioning the series in his book, and the symbol on the left is 5, which is 0.618, and it symbolizes the golden ratio. And that's the golden ratio and Fibonacci sequence are interrelated. This is how you create the Fibonacci spiral. So you divide a rectangle into the ratio of 5 and 1, and then you go on creating smaller rectangles inside, and then you can create the spiral from starting with the tiniest one and going on to the largest rectangle. And this is the theory that Fibonacci proposed of the bunny rabbits. So you have one pair of bunnies at the beginning of a year, they mate, then you have another pair at the end of the year. As they mature, they mate and they get like 2. So you follow the Fibonacci sequence of 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and so on. That's the Fibonacci for the human face. The perfect human face has multiple Fibonacci spirals, and you can it enhances the beauty of the face, I guess, and it's aesthetic. Lots of companies use like the essence of the Fibonacci to create their logos to make it more aesthetic and to enhance their designs. So that's the Apple logo, and that's how they use the golden rectangle and the Fibonacci to create it. The difference between using blocks and the Fibonacci spiral, so that's the Bauhaus, which is like a block building, and that's a building in England, which has used the essence of a Fibonacci spiral. So it's a biome building where they've kept plants. That's the ovary of the angler fish, which is, and it's used, like the cells are arranged in the Fibonacci spiral, which enhances the aesthetic value, and even it just aligns it in a better way, kind of. This is cancer cells dividing, and they divide in the form of the Fibonacci spiral too, which I thought was really interesting because I did not know that. And I don't know why it does that, but that's what it does. And lots of architects and people use the golden rectangle to create the buildings. So the one on top is an architectural example. And paintings use the Fibonacci spiral to give it more aesthetics. Nature has the Fibonacci, so that's a rose petal, and you can actually see the Fibonacci spiral if you observe it really carefully. In nature, you find like the Fibonacci spiral a lot. So sunflowers, they have the pollen grains in which grow in the form of the Fibonacci spiral. Eggs follow the shape of the spiral to give it more the aesthetic value. Even you see them in pine cones too. This is the popular yin and yang symbol, and it uses the spiral and the golden rectangle, and that's how you get like the perfect circle with the perfect divisions in it. And other symbols, you get it in pine cones, you get the Fibonacci, and the way the leaves grow, the plants grow too. Your thumbprints, fingerprints also have the spiral, and that's what makes it unique, each thumbprint, so you have the difference. A lot of shells have the Fibonacci spiral in it, and you can actually see the spiral in the Nautica shell. It's really distinct in that one. That's the universe, which also follows the Fibonacci spiral, and you can actually see the planets and everything. Like when it originated, it started with the spiral, and it's moving on from there, and it's continuing. These are different landmasses. So the one on the bottom right is Tibet. The one on the top right is a hurricane, and that's Africa, which the population follows this, the Fibonacci spiral. Like people have actually gone and researched that, and they found that the population gets arranged in this form of the spiral, and those are
I liked how you had all the different examples showing how it's in like everything.
I think you did a really good job of explaining like what it is and how it like fits into everything, like every one of your pictures. You did a good job. Thank you.
I thought the population example was really cool, how it is more dense and when the schools got smaller. I thought that was really cool.
Think about these things, you see it in the cancer cells dividing, all these things that are naturally occurring, good and bad, etc. And you begin to understand why, as people found these proportions over the years, about centuries ago, as they began to understand those proportions, why many of them felt they had mystical qualities to them, and that it was essential to build with those qualities in those dimensions, etc., or things would not have the protection of nature when you constructed them. It is very, very interesting. The things biologically, the ratios in the human body, the lengths of your bones, things like female fertility cycles, etc., all have the Fibonacci golden ratio at the base of them. I thought your presentation was a good one. I would say that when you put it into your blog, you should just take the writing off that first one there.
Okay.
It will be, we know you're going to be talking about Fibonacci and golden ratio from the minute you introduce yourself and begin. And that spiral will be more arresting as you begin to talk, will mean more to us if it doesn't have something that's breaking it up. There were a couple of images that, when they were really blown up, are pixelated a bit more than desirable. So all I can do is to tell you that you're not going to see that until they're blown up in some cases. But if it looks slightly pixelated on your screen, it's going to look really bad when you blow it up. So you'll have to use that guideline. I'm sure none of these look bad on the screen at all when you did it, because they weren't that bad when they blew up. There was one thing I thought we might do. Could you put that in slide sorter view for me? Because I'm not sure which slide it was. Oh, okay. It was right at the beginning there. When you go back to the bunnies, I thought there maybe you couldn't quite get the whole explanation of that in there. Because it seems to me that would be the logical point to say that at this point we understand that any number in the Fibonacci sequence is the sum of the two numbers before it. Because you could see that very well if you thought about it during that slide. And you might have done just a little overlay on it. Did you make that one, or did you?
No, I found it.
Okay. What you could do then is overlay some tags, much like they do in that one you always see of the Parthenon. You could overlay some tags on it showing that this is, 1 plus 2 is 3, and et cetera, et cetera. Other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Pecha.